media, and crazy enough, we're looking at it the other day, and we said, "Holy shit, the NFL season kicks off pretty damn early this year." And not just that, believe it or not, there's a team that's going to be in camp next week. The Houston Texans kick off their camp on July 17th. So we said, well, damn, if we're going to get all 8 divisions previewed here on DAR Sports Media, we're going to have to get rolling. So here we are, July 9th, talking some NFL divisional previews. And we're going to start with one that I think Tay finds interesting, the NFC North. And I agree, there's a lot of interesting storylines going on with this particular division, because you have a team in a position that they're certainly not in Tay's lifetime, and barely in mine and Axe's lifetime, a position that they've never been in before. You've got a team on the come up. You've got a team that's had a huge facelift with the number 1 overall pick. And you have a team that's very interesting in that they have some mountains and some valleys, some of the best. The Vikings have a very interesting roster because they got top 5 in numerous spots, but they got bottom 5 in a couple of other spots. So, it's interesting to see how that'll go. But we're going to start off at the top, my top, and we'll go around and we'll see what everybody thinks of the teams, see where they got these different teams placing. My top team, and like I said, in the position that I don't think any of us ever remember them being in. I mean, back in the Barry Sanders days, there was some playoff hopes. But I'm here to tell you that I see the Detroit Lions as a legitimate Super Bowl contender right off the bat. Because, we saw what they did last year, and then they went into this offseason and they threw tons of resources at their weak spots. I don't know if we can say for sure or with a strong amount of confidence that those weak spots are going to be completely cleared up from being bottom 20 to top 10, but they damn sure attacked it, trying to make it that way. They added 4 corners, 2 through free agency, 2 through high picks, tried to address defensive line. They did a lot of things. They got the guys from the offense coming back. They lost a lineman, but they replaced him fairly decently, losing Jonah Williams and adding Eric Zeigler. I think, obviously these are all, and of course, all the stuff we talk about is all assuming health works out, assuming this, that, and the third. I think all things considered, with the additions, the way that the Lions attacked their weaknesses, the people that they have coming back, I think the Lions are a strong Super Bowl contender. I see them as a 12-win team. I'm thinking it's all there for them. It's all there for them this year. Injuries, bounces here and there, that's what it's going to come down to. The Lions are locked and loaded, ready to go. I love them. Tay, do you have them in first place? What do you think of the Lions?
No, I do not have them in first place.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah. I just expect the regression. It's kind of hard to win. I think they won 12 games last year. It's kind of hard to do that, back-to-back years. I think they'll be a great team next year, but I don't think they will repeat exactly what they did last year. Like, that comes with a lot of, I don't want to say luck, but it comes with a lot.
There's luck. Healthy. There's things that go your way. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely there is.
Easier schedule. Gotta stay healthy. I don't remember too many injuries aside maybe 1 or 2 games. It's a lot that goes into it. So I expect the coin to be flipped on the other side a little bit more for them this season, lose a little more of those 50-50 games and whatnot. So yeah, I do think they'd be a good team. Maybe even enough to make the playoffs, just not the number 1 team in this division.
Okay, so who do you got as the number 1 team in the division?
I got the division pretty balanced. I don't think it
is not a ton of separation. No, you're right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Tay, I hope you've been prepping today. Lay this out for me.
Well, the Bears did win 7 games last season, so that gives you some hope when it comes to next season. I mean, I feel like they got They got the best player available in the draft, and then they gave him one of the best rosters. I mean, they went out and got multiple receivers. They got Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze. I mean, and then you have DJ Moore with that. Can't really get much better than that. Receiver room, O-line was decent. It's not the best, and it's not the worst. Like, he won't be running for his life the whole game. So, yeah, and I think the running backs are serviceable. Like, that won't be an issue. Like, you won't look at this team like, oh man, they need a running back. So yeah, they also had one of the best corners in the league, Jalen Johnson. Like, they don't really have any strong weakness to me. Like, yeah, you could say head coach, but I think when the head coach last year, when he took over play calling, which you should do as a head coach, defense played a lot better, like towards the second half of the season. So, yeah, I just expect them to just pick up where they left off last season. The defense, the second half of the year, the defense was a lot better. Offense was a lot better. I don't know. I think this is the year for the Bears to become one of those teams. The Bears have been horrible for as long as I can remember.
So I will say, and we discussed it a little bit last year. I was really, because we was going into the draft and we were talking about the roster buildup and how much better they looked. And I told you guys about how I just couldn't understand. Like, I sat for like a couple hours digging into all these different metric stats they have listed in all these places. I was like, I just don't understand why the Bears like suck so much. Like, why they lose these games. Like, why they just weren't ranked that poorly in any particular spot. They just couldn't win games for whatever reason. So I don't 100% hate what you're saying, because they did not have a horrible roster to begin with. And then, like you said, they made these incredible upgrades throughout the offseason. They did an amazing job in the offseason acquiring players. And, I think it's arguable. It's you could arguably go to the top, but they are absolutely top 5 in the wide receiver room. I mean, you got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, who we think is going to be a day one guy who's going to be able to contribute much in the mold of a Chris Olave or a Garrett Wilson. And then you got DJ Moore, who was already there. Great running catch, great gadget guy. They shored themselves up in the secondary where they had some issues. Added, like you said, I mean, DeAndre Swift, if he stays healthy, got up a lot of explosion. I think it all comes down to the quarterback position. If they improve there, you have a lot of confidence in Caleb Williams, correct?
Yes.
So there you go. That carries the day. I still have questions. I still have questions if he starts showing some of the bad habits that he had in college. I got questions if this roster is talented enough to overcome some of that. But some people might be shocked to hear you take the Bears, but the roster wasn't bad, and they had probably the best offseason of any team. And that wide receiver room is fucking loaded, man. So I can see it. I can foresee it. How many wins do you think they're getting?
Maybe 11. I say that's the most they can possibly get. I say 11.
So 10 or 11 looking like.
Yeah, something in that area.
So I think a team that most people expected to come in, probably second, and we didn't hear that from you. The Green Bay Packers. What makes you? Do you have them third place?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts? So, we all liked what we saw Jordan Love going down the stretch last year. And I love that they, made the addition. I love the addition of Josh Jacobs at running back. He has got the type of attitude. He's got the type of skill that's going to be awesome up there in Green Bay in that weather, in the cold. Like, I love the addition of Josh Jacobs, but man, they really didn't do anything to improve the wide receiver room that they had Jordan Love throwing to last year. They should have, good cap room. They dropped off Bakhtiari. They dropped off John Runyon. Didn't do a whole lot to rebuild that offensive line from the people that they lost. So while I love the addition of Josh Jacobs, I know we all love what we saw out of Jordan Love last year. Wide receiver room and the OL looking a little shaky. I'm sure that plays into why you got them ranked third. What do you think of the Packers, Tay?
Yeah, I think last year they were a year too early, and I kind of saw that in this team. But this year, again, similar to the Lions, like I think, like the Packers came back. It had a multiple fourth quarter comebacks down by multiple touchdowns. Like I don't think that works 2 years in a row. Like I think same thing like I said with the Lions. Like a lot of those 50-50 games are not going to go their side this year, and I can see maybe 9-8 for this team. Like I don't think they'll be terrible. Like they're definitely one of the better. How should I put that? They'd be one of the better third season their division, if that makes sense. Yeah.
They'll be one of the best non-playoff teams.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. They got a lot of question marks. Like I think they should have looked at some corners earlier in the draft. They got multiple picks last year. Haven't seen them play just yet. Like it's a lot of question marks for the Packers. And I think Jordan Love can elevate the receiver room. Like I do think they definitely should have looked into maybe trying to get a wide receiver, but I think Jordan Love with what he had last year, it's the same guys. What he had last year, I guess they felt like they just want to go back out there with the same guys, see if anyone, improves or whatnot. So
Green Bay was cheap with a multiple time MVP and Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense that they want to run it back, especially since Love had over 4,000 yards, right?
Yeah. I think they just want to see like, say Bo Melton, he's just this wide receiver one. They find out, just playing them all throughout the season, like something like that. I think they're looking for a breakout wide receiver. Like they have a bunch of guys that have potential but haven't quite got there yet. So yeah, that's probably why they left the receiver room alone.
Still, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Am I mixing Romeo Dobbs up with somebody else? Was it Watson? Was it Dobbs? I'm trying to remember.
They've had some good games.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. They're not enough to like no longer worry about the receiver room. Like they don't that's why I think they still need to prove themselves as like a alpha,
solid unit.
Yeah.
So Axe Tay had the Bears rising to the top and winning this division. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the Bears coming into this year? My thoughts, by the way, was that, solid roster actually last year just didn't work out a lot. And then they had a phenomenal offseason, top 5 receiver room. So, like, I'm not necessarily just going to shit on it right out of the gate, but, that is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's a hot take. It's a crispy, warm take saying that the Bears are going to take this division over. What do you think?
He's lucky I was cooking dinner while he was saying that, because that's going to be a negative Ghost Rider. I don't really envision them getting 11 wins. I do see them improving. I love what they did in the offseason. I like the Keenan Allen acquisition. I think him and DJ Moore is going to be very potent. I think Roman Tuesday is going to eat off of that as well. I'm not sure if Caleb Williams, he's going to be better than Justin Fields, I believe, but 4 to 5 wins better, I don't know. And then, like, the jury's still out on their coach as well. I'm not sure.
Big time.
I'm not sure if he's like playoff material. So if they come out the season stanking with all this talent, if they spend all this money in the offseason, he could fuck around and
get real fucking tight. Yeah, it's gonna get real fucking tight around there.
Like around the bye week, they'll get you up out of there. NFL cutthroat with the firing. They'll fire you in season. Like, fuck it.
So, and then, he had his doubts about the Lions. What do you think of the Lions? And
the Lions are
a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
The Lions are legit contenders, man. They're creme de la creme of this division. Like, they're top tier. They're going to win easily. Like, Jared Goff is low-key one of the best quarterbacks alive in history. And he's just going to continue to build off of what he did last year. Like, they really only lost in the playoffs because of poor coaching decisions. They didn't play horrible. Like, so they were right there. So they retained talent, like made some good acquisitions. Like, they still got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's one of the best receivers in the NFL. Defense should be better this year. They're going to be in great shape, man. They're going to win this division. Like, I strongly disagree with Tay as far as the Bears. I personally have the Bears in third place behind the Packers. I just love what Jordan Love did last year. Like, I just can't ignore that. Like, the fact that he, like, went out and proved playing at a high level. I do think Caleb Williams is going to play well. I think people are overreacting to, like,
non-football things.
Yeah. Things that have nothing to do with football. Like, that's how you move off the field. Oh, well, as long as he produced, like, that's really all that matters. I think they'll be around an 8 or 9 win team, but I don't really envision the Bears as, like, a dominant team. Because I got to see it with the coach. I haven't seen enough to where I'm buying into them, like, turning things around.
All right, so do we all have the Vikings last place?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Man, it's a wild situation because love the roster, love the coach. Addison and Jefferson, you know, we could end up looking back on that as like an all-time combination, like a Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, you know, an all-time combination. Because Addison is a nasty, nasty boy. And then Jefferson's the best receiver in the league. They got a damn fine offensive line, top 3 tight ends. A lot of, you know, there's a lot going on there. But man, the quarterback is just such a zero for them. And you know, JJ, he might end up overperforming what we expect. It's just hard to gauge what that could look like when he was such a non-factor for a lot of his last season of college. And that doesn't mean non-factor like he was bad or he got taken out of it. It just didn't, you know, it's natural to assume that if you have a quarterback who's a stud, you're going to throw the ball a little more than they did, and they just didn't. And I know Jim Harbaugh and great offensive line, great running back, but you know, there's reason to be concerned because for me, you know, to believe it, you got to see it. And we just didn't see a lot of it. There are some great football minds out there that I respect a lot. My man, David Lighty on Twitter, who love McCarthy as a prospect. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't think any of us think that Sam Darnold is the answer here or is going to be taking them anywhere. The level of washed that Aaron Jones may or may not be is very concerning. I thought he looked damn good. He looked damn good every time he played the fucking 49ers, that's for sure. But the Packers were very willing to let him go with a still developing young quarterback. So that is concerning. Very strange situation with the Vikings. Axe, you looked up their schedule before we went on air. Pretty damn tough schedule. It's going to be tough for me unless McCarthy is way more than we think that he is, or is going to be his rookie year anyways. It's tough for me to see them getting above 7 wins this upcoming season. But I will say, for some solace, I'm not sure. Did they trade their first round pick next year? Does anybody know?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so.
Well, if they do have their own pick, you know, when teams are uber talented like that, but they end up still getting to pick high, that's how you turn teams into you give yourself a window. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what happened with the 49ers is they had a real good roster. They had a bunch of injuries that one year they got to pick Bosa and then fucking off to the races we went. It was a super talented team picking in a spot that they had no business picking in relative to the talent on the team. And that could be the scenario that plays out for the Vikings. So one has to hope for that. if you're a Vikings fan. I have a tough time seeing them get over 7 wins. Tay, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I actually like the Vikings as a team.
I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. Like, they don't really have.
Continue. I'm sorry. Continue.
Like, they got some guys in their roster. Like,
yes, they have a fantastic roster. The quarterback
I'm not
so
gonna
bad,
act
though.
like,
They're talking about Sam Darnold, boy. Sam Darnold.
like they got Aaron Jones. You know, he looked really good at the passing game, like he always does.
As long as they play the fucking 49ers every week, he'll turn it up, man.
Yeah. I like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I think that can go down as one of the best duos, you know.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and then they have a top 5 tight end, TJ Hawkinson. The O-line is pretty good. Like, I mean, on offense, it's just a quarterback. And I feel like with a quarterback with questions, you give him a roster like this. You give him receivers, tight end, stuff like that, you know, and a good O-line. That's how you elevate a bridge quarterback.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, like, so that's why I'm not so stuck on Sam Darnold. Like, yeah, Sam Darnold hasn't done anything in his career, but I do think this is the best situation. Like, why can't he be what Geno Smith was? Like,
I mean, never say never. You right, but I feel like he's had multiple opportunities.
Yeah, we've seen a lot more Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but where though? Like, who was on his team in Carolina?
Oh my God, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this Sam Darnold alibi shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
opportunities. Let's not act like.
And then he was drafted to one of the worst situations ever. Went to the Jets. Name me one receiver on that Jets team.
No, the Jets stink, but I'm just saying, like, he would make bad reads too. I remember, like, I'm thinking,
he was an interception. Oh, okay, he was an interception machine in college, and then he was an interception machine in the NFL.
Absolutely, I was never really
the most talent he's been with, though. Like, I know the Jets went bad, but like I see that as like
McCarthy might Mac Jones. Job. I'm not high on McCarthy.
I mean, like, it's not even about the quarterback. It's like, if you have a talented roster, I think you can mask it. I'm not saying they're gonna win 15 games. I'm saying the quarterback isn't gonna be that big of an issue. It's just not gonna be better than other teams.
Tough schedule, bro.
I mean, yeah, I feel like all the teams in the division do. Then
they do, but they're the worst out of the bunch, in my opinion.
Right, and I agree with you. But
let's read the schedule for the listeners, so they can hear what we talk about. Because I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Vikings. I don't think they're like trash. I just think their schedule's too tough for them to like do anything worth a damn. I'm looking it up now. Anybody got that? Y'all might be a little quicker than I can.
No, I don't got it, but okay. So I'll just hold you to this, Tay. If he wins the job, which that's not even a guarantee, and then we'll fucking be doing this again somewhere else. If he gets out there and he still fucking looks like Sam fucking Darnold, that's it. God damn it. It's over. That's it. He sucks and it's over. That's it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's gonna win that job. I think.
All right, let's read the schedule real quick before we move on. Like, just so the listeners can get context. So I don't like come off as like a hating ass nigga. You got the Vikings and the Giants. They should win that game. Then they got the Niners. That's a loss. The Texans lost. The Packers, in my opinion, lost. Jets, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, lost. Lions, lost. The Rams, toss up. Potentially lost.
I don't think so.
Right. The Colts.
I think the Rams will whoop that ass.
The Colts, that's a toss-up, especially if Anthony Richardson plays at the level he played at last year. He was playing pretty well until he got hurt. Jaguars.
Speaking of people that I'm ready to move on from if they don't fucking show it this year.
Who, the Colts?
No, Anthony Richardson. We'll get there on our AFC South fucking episode.
Year 2, sheesh. But
Jaguars. Treat him like a year 2 guy though, motherfucker. I wish people would be out there. He better put up Brock Purdy fucking numbers, because goddamn, we were fucking all over that. Everybody was all over that.
It was on Brock Purdy. Yeah.
He better fucking put up Brock Purdy numbers, or I don't want to hear nothing about it. They act like Anthony Richardson was already fucking better than him because he made fucking 4 or 5 highlight plays and was injured almost just as much. Anyways.
Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, that's potentially a loss. Titans, up in the air. They probably had Will Levis starting, but Calvin Ridley, if he's anything like he was a couple years ago, that's up in the air. Bears, that's up in the air. They should beat the Cardinals. Vikings, that's probably, I say Vikings. Falcons, that's probably a loss. And they play the Bears again. Then they play in Seattle. That's probably a loss. Then the Packers. Then the Lions to end the season in Detroit. Like, I don't see a successful season there.
It's tough to find. It's tough to find.
No, man.
It's tough to find more than 7 wins.
Yeah, I didn't say it's gonna be a successful season, but like, we could do this with any team. Like, when does it ever go like that? Like, oh, the better team win. It never goes.
Any team that has Sam Darnold or a rookie starting, you can't do that with any team with those circumstances.
Like, they could beat the Texans week 3. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. That's just how NFL goes. Like,
light them boys up. You're right.
And you know who the Texans lost to last year? Lost to the Panthers last year. Like, it happens. Every team gets caught. Every team does. I think the Vikings are better than what you're making it seem like. I think they can definitely win 8 games with any quarterback, just off of their weapons alone.
All right. Wow. That would be a good thing to revisit. MVP of we'll do a little surprise on you guys. I'll let you guys think real quick before we get there. We'll do MVP of this division. Who's going to be the standout of the division?
That's easy for me. Oh,
okay, go. Who is it?
Caleb Williams. That's so easy for me. Oh yeah, rookie of the year. Yes.
I said MVP.
Oh yes.
So MVP and rookie. So MVP and rookie of the year.
Like the best player in this division? Yes. Oh yeah. No question about it. No.
My God.
I'm so confident in that. Like, they're not gonna jump from 4 to 1 in the division without
if that does happen and he has good numbers, there is an argument to make that replacement, right? Because that's what Axe said, right? He said he's not worth 4 or 5 more wins. Mm-hmm. If he ends up proving to be, I guess that there is a discussion to be had there.
Mm-hmm. So would y'all say Jettis is the best player in this division? Like, that's who you would say it is now?
I say who's going to be the MVP of this
division. As far as proven players, absolutely. As far as MVP, I got Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's who I was going to pick too.
Caleb Williams. I'm definitely taking Caleb Williams. Yeah, for sure.
Swiftly rolling into one of the most all-time, most underrated players in the league. Motherfuckers was ready to fucking have a funeral for his fucking career, and this dude is fucking still balling.
A Super Bowl appearance, like damn near another one. Like
no. That was for a different team.
It's crazy.
That's for a different team.
Huh?
That was for a different team.
But still, like, people be talking about Jared Goff like he ain't shit. Like, he's having a great career.
Yeah, he's having a good career. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's a new sheriff in town. Like,
so I think he's the odds-on favorite, but I think the dark horse is Jordan Love, because if they end up going 10 wins, 11 wins, it's gonna fucking be because of Jordan Love. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Axe, who do you got as rookie of the year in the division?
Rookie of the year definitely be Caleb Williams. I think he's going to play well. As far as the MVP, like I said, I got Jared Goff. I do have Amon-Ra St. Brown playing at a high level as well. I got Jordan Love playing at a high level too. So many multiple guys that Justin Jefferson. it's a lot of talent in this division. It's really hard to like rank where guys are going to be. I definitely think Roma Duze. I don't think he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, but I think he'll have at least 500. He's going to have impact. He ain't just going to be just a guy out there, like especially as the quote unquote third, maybe second option. Because Keenan Allen can still play at a high level. He just ain't like a vet, just like tagging along.
Yeah, no.
He can still like run routes to catch it out.
So that was gonna be my pick for rookie of the year was Roma Dunze. Just to give, just to talk up one last guy. I mean, I think he's gonna be plug and play. Hopefully if he gets that chemistry with Caleb Williams early, he has every tool to be right off the bat. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the 1,000-yard receiver because who do you pick to cover? Right? You're shading coverages towards Keenan Allen, you're shading coverages towards DJ Moore, and Roma Dunze is eaten. So it might take some time for then, by the end of the season, you're shading coverages toward Roma Dunze. But I think he's going to have that kind of impact. I would not be surprised to see him 950 to 1050 as far as yardage goes.
If that happens, Caleb Williams is going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And
they got
that happens, that's like the absolute ceiling right there. If you think that means you must see Caleb Williams really leading the Bears. Like if you think that, I because that's kind of hard to do, to bring on a unproven wide receiver to be like, I would say that's competing with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. That's arguably the best.
I think that Caleb Williams is going to do numbers. It's just he's going to do numbers for both teams.
Okay, so heavy turnovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was my.
I think Cole Kmet's going to be the X factor too.
Okay, dark horse, yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, he's nice, low key.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hope that DAR Sports is a nice little piece of your podcast rotation. Like we said, we're back. NFL divisional previews. We are going to have a special next week. EA Sports College Football pod, video, whatever, with possibly a very special guest. We're still working on that. Some of us will have the game, so there'll be some insights. It'll be one of the first places you can get a review of that game that some of us have been waiting 10 fucking years to have. It's been since Tay was in like 4th grade since one of these have fucking come out. We are fucking ready to go, us old men. So we're excited to put that video out next week. Also coming up later on this week, we've got the NBA offseason wrap-up for you guys. The last big domino fell. Possibly there might be still a Lauri Markkanen trade in the works, but the last big domino fell with DeMar DeRozan going to the Kings. We're going to cover that and overall offseason grades for the teams that we thought that did the best. And me and True, of course, rolling with the weekend wrestling. So lots of drops, lots of actions. It got a little quiet for a little while, but we are going to be back with tons of drops. And I think I want to announce it yet because I want to wait till it's in the can. But we also got some more stuff with the United Football Media coming up as well. An interesting project that we'll be able to tell you about sooner than later. The NFC North, interesting. I think we got this will be some fun stuff to come back and visit. And we hope that you come back and visit our humble little YouTube page. This is DAR Sports Media, and the world of DAR never stops.